everyone! In this video, we're going to be looking at sort number 47 from Words Their Way. It's in your spelling booklet, so please get that out now and we'll take a look at it. Okay, everybody, so in our prefix sort today, we are going to be looking at 3 different prefixes. The first one is the prefix dis. Dis. Now we remember a prefix goes at the beginning of a base word. So dis is one prefix we're going to be looking at today, and I'm going to be asking you in a minute what it means, because we remember prefixes have meanings. The next one that we're going to look at is the prefix miss. Miss. So again, this can be found at the beginning of words and it has a meaning. So when you put it at the beginning of a word, it changes the meaning of the word. And finally, the last prefix we're going to be looking at today is the prefix pre. And in fact, if you look at the word prefix, it has a prefix in it, pre. Okay, everybody, so let's start with the prefix dis. Can you find a word on our sheet that has the prefix dis? Now, I bet you found a whole bunch of them, but I'm going to start with the very first one, disagree. So we remember that a prefix goes at the beginning of a base word. So I'm going to highlight the word dis and I'm going to underline the base word agree. Now, we know that to agree with someone means that you have the same thoughts as somebody else and you both think that those thoughts are true. If you disagree with someone, what does that mean? Now, if you think that it means that you do not agree with someone, you are correct. Now let's take another look at a word that starts with dis. How about the word dishonest? Let's go right to almost the middle of our page. I'm going to highlight the word dis, the prefix dis, and I'm going to underline the base word. Now I want you to think about what that base word honest means. To be honest, you may have been thinking this means that you're telling the truth. If you are dishonest, what would that mean? Well, it would mean that you are not telling the truth. Can you find one more word on our sort that starts with dis? Let's go all the way to the bottom. Let's go to disappear. I'm going to highlight our prefix dis and underline our base word appear. Now, if something appears in front of you, that means you can see it. If something were to disappear, that means you cannot see it anymore. It is the opposite of appear. So now, keeping this in mind for disappear, dishonest, and disagree, what do you think the prefix dis means? Well, if you were thinking that it means not, or maybe the opposite of something, you are correct. So when you put a dis in front of a word, it means that you're saying it is not that thing, or you're making it the opposite meaning. So I can agree with you, and yes, we are of the same mind. If I say I disagree with you, that means I do not agree with you. So when you put a dis in front of a word, it means the opposite. It means not something. To appear means I can see you. To disappear means I cannot see you. To be honest means you tell the truth. To be dishonest means the opposite. You do not tell the truth. So the meaning of the prefix dis is not, or it creates the opposite meaning. Okay, let's take a look at our next prefix, the prefix miss. Now, can you find a word on our sheet that has the prefix miss? Well, again, let's start at the very top of the page. I'm going to highlight MIS. And then I'm going to underline the base word spell. To spell something means to write out the letters to create a word. What do you think it means to misspell something? Well, if you thought that it means to spell it incorrectly or wrongly, you are correct. Okay, let's take a look at another word that starts with a miss. Miss. How about, let's see, misbehave. That's a fun one. There's our prefix miss, and there's our root word behave. Now, we've heard this word in school a lot. To behave means that you're doing the expected behavior. If you misbehave, that means what? Well, it means that you're behaving incorrectly. You're not doing the expected behavior. So to misspell means to spell incorrectly. To misbehave is to behave incorrectly. Do you see the meaning of miss now? If you thought that it means incorrectly or wrongly, you are correct. So it means incorrectly. And just a side note, the word misspell is one of the most commonly misspelled words, which is kind of ironic because the word misspell is misspelled. The reason is because there's two S's there, but there's a reason for that. M-I-S is the prefix and it ends in an S. The word spell starts with an S, so of course you get two S's at the beginning. So oftentimes people misspell the word misspell. Fun fact. Okay, let's take a look at our final prefix. It's the word pre. Take a look at our sort, please, and see if you can find a word that begins with pre. Well, let's start at the very top. Preschool. There's our prefix pre, and there's our base word school. Now we know school means something that we're all very common with. You go to school. If you go to preschool, that means you're going to school before you go to regular school. It's kind of an before school kind of situation. Let's take another look at another word that has a pre. I'm going to find one that I know you've heard me say a lot. Is it on here? It is, I was going to do pre-test. Oh, there it is. Pre-test. The entire first and second term, you have heard the word pretest because pretest means you have a test before the actual test. So as you know, I would give you a test on a Monday, see which words you knew, and then by Friday you would have studied those words and you'd have them for the actual test. So a pretest is a test you have before the actual test. So let's see, preschool is a school you go to before you start regular school. A pretest is a test you have before you have the actual test. So keeping that in mind, we can now guess that the meaning of pre is before, something that happens before. So your job on this sort, everybody, is to cut out your 1, 2, 3 categories and put them at the top of your table or workspace. You're going to cut out the rest of the spelling words, and I want you to sort them under the appropriate category. Either it has a dis prefix, a miss prefix, or a pre prefix, which is kind of hard to say. Now, I will tell you one thing. There is one word that does not fit in any of these categories. And in fact, it is an oddball, but they don't give you an oddball heading, strangely enough. But there is actually one word that starts with one of these prefixes, but there is no base word. So I want to see if you can find it. There is one word that does not belong under dis, miss, or pre as a prefix. It is an oddball. So you're going to imagine that there is another category of oddball, please. And in fact, why don't you make your own card that says oddball, because one word is going to go under it. Okay? I want to see that in your sort today. So please cut out the words, sort them under their proper prefixes, take a picture and post it to your digital learning journal. Okay, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye for now.